Think about a time when you were deeply, undeniably wronged. Not a minor inconvenience, not a misunderstanding. I mean a moment when something was violently taken from you. A betrayal that cut so deep it severed your timeline into two distinct eras, before the pain and after. Maybe it was a person who walked away when they promised they wouldn't. Maybe it was a career you sacrificed your youth for, only to be discarded like a broken tool. Maybe it was an expectation of how your life was supposed to be, a promise of happiness that reality simply shattered. When that happens, when the universe cuts your legs out from under you, what do? Most people eventually grieve. They heal. They limp forward, learning to live with the scar. But there is another path, a darker, seductive, and infinitely more agonizing path. You refuse to heal. You refuse to let it go. Instead, you gather up the shattered pieces of your pain, you forge them together in the furnace of your own humiliation, and you build something terrible. You survive purely on spite. We look at Darth Maul, and we see a demon. We see the red and black skin, the crown of horns, the athletic, terrifying predator spinning a double-bladed weapon with absolute, lethal perfection. He is introduced as the ultimate weapon, focused, silent, and destined for greatness. He was bred to be the instrument of an empire's revenge. But that is not his story. That is just his prologue. Maul's true story, the one that mirrors the darkest corners of human psychology, begins the moment he is cut in half and sent tumbling down a seemingly bottomless shaft. He falls into the abyss, defeated, humiliated, stripped of his destiny, stripped of his future. Logically, biologically, he should have died in the dark. But he didn't. He lived. How? How does a creature survive being severed in two, both physically and spiritually? Through the sheer, terrifying power of absolute, unadulterated hatred. He focused on a single name, a single face, a single grievance. He grabbed onto his anger because it was the only thing left in the universe that belonged to him. It became his heartbeat. It became his oxygen. How many of us are surviving exactly like that right now? How many of us wake up not because we are excited about the future, but because we are too angry to quit? Because we want to prove someone wrong, because we want to show the people who doubted us, the people who abandoned us, that we are still standing. We call it resilience. We dress it up in motivational quotes. We tell ourselves we are hustling or grinding or overcoming. But underneath the surface, it isn't resilience. It's a refusal to accept reality. It is toxic, corrosive spite. It is the ego screaming into the void, "I will not let you be the end of my story." And so, we crawl into the dark. In the lore, Maul survives his fall and ends up on Lotho Minor, a junk planet, a literal dumping ground for the galaxy's garbage. For over a decade, he lives in the bowels of this garbage world. He loses his mind. He forgets his own identity. He becomes a terrifying, spider-like monstrosity, building mechanical legs out of discarded scrap metal. He sits in the dark, surrounded by trash, chanting the name of the man who hurt him over and over and over again. Kenobi. 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 This is the most accurate depiction of clinical rumination ever put to screen. When you cannot let go of your trauma, your mind becomes Lotho Minor. It becomes a junk planet. You sit in the dark, sifting through the garbage of your own memories. You replay the argument. You replay the breakup. You replay the failure. You take all the toxic, rusted pieces of your past, the insults, the rejections, the embarrassments, and you attach them to yourself. You build a grotesque, defensive framework out of your trauma. You become sharp. You become defensive. You lash out at anyone who comes near you because you are terrified they might see how broken you actually are. And you obsess over your Kenobi. Your Kenobi might not be a Jedi. Your Kenobi is the former partner who is happily married to someone else while you are still alone. Your Kenobi is the former business partner who stole your idea and got rich. Your Kenobi is the parent who never told you they were proud of you. Your Kenobi is the symbol of your pain. Maul believes that if he can just find Kenobi, if he can just destroy him, make him suffer, make him feel the exact same agony that he felt, then he will finally be whole again. The phantom pain of his severed legs will stop hurting. The humiliation will be erased. But that is the great lie of revenge. That is the illusion of a life lived in endless rage. Revenge is a parasite. It promises you closure, but it actually feeds on your life force. When your entire identity is built around a grievance, what happens if the grievance is resolved? Who are you without your anger? Have you ever met someone who achieved incredible success, but they are still miserable? The millionaire who still acts like a bullied teenager. The successful artist who spends all day arguing with critics on the internet. They built an empire, but they built it on a foundation of spite. And spite is an inherently unstable architecture. It fuels you. Oh, anger is a magnificent fuel. It will get you out of bed at 4 a.m. It will make you work 80-hour weeks. It will make you push your body and your mind past their breaking points. But anger doesn't warm you. It burns you out. It hollows you out from the inside until you are nothing but an engine running on fumes, tearing itself apart.
And this leads to the most heartbreaking realization of all, the paradox of the trauma bond. Maul hates Kenobi more than anything in the universe, but paradoxically, Kenobi is the only thing keeping Maul alive. Kenobi gives him a purpose. Kenobi is his compass. In a twisted, horrifying way, Maul is completely dependent on the man who destroyed him. When we hold on to our pain for too long, we become slaves to it. We let the people who hurt us dictate the trajectory of our entire lives. We make our decisions based on what will prove them wrong rather than what will make us happy. You think you are fighting them. You think you are showing them your strength, but in reality, you have built a shrine to them in the center of your mind, and you are worshiping at the altar of your own destruction every single day. You are a prisoner, and you are the one holding the key, refusing to turn it. Eventually, the fire has to burn out. The engine has to fail. Maul's journey ends on Tatooine, a dead, silent desert. He is older now. The raw, screaming energy of his youth has faded into a desperate, hollow exhaustion. He has lost everything. He has no empire. He has no brother. He has no future. He has only the grievance. He is wandering the desert, screaming into the void, begging for a final confrontation. He finally finds Kenobi. The man is old. He is peaceful. He is sitting by a fire in the middle of nowhere. The tragedy of this moment is overwhelming. Maul has spent his entire life running a marathon of hatred, crossing the galaxy, enduring unimaginable physical and psychological torture just to reach this point. And Kenobi isn't even fighting the same war. Kenobi has moved on. Kenobi has found purpose. Kenobi pities him. They fight. It isn't an epic, drawn-out duel like the ones in their youth. It lasts only seconds. Why? Because Maul tries to use the exact same move he used to kill Kenobi's master decades ago. He is literally trapped in the past. He cannot adapt. He cannot grow. His trauma has frozen him in time, dooming him to repeat the same aggressive patterns that destroyed his life in the first place. Kenobi strikes him down, not with anger, but with a swift, tragic mercy. And as Maul falls, as the hatred finally drains out of him, something incredible and devastating happens. He doesn't curse Kenobi, he doesn't scream. He falls into Kenobi's arms, the arms of his greatest enemy, the arms of the man who ruined his life. In his final moments, the terrifying Sith Lord, the monster of Lotho Minor, the engine of rage, is just a broken, exhausted man who wants to be held. He asks Kenobi if the boy he is protecting is the chosen one. Kenobi says yes. He will avenge us, Maul whispers. Us. In his dying breath, the illusion shatters. He realizes that he and Kenobi were never truly enemies. They were both just pawns. They were both victims of a larger, colder machinery that used them and threw them away. All the anger, all the blood, all the years spent living in the garbage, dragging those heavy metal legs across the galaxy, all of it was for nothing. He sacrificed the only life he had on the altar of a grievance that was never going to save him. Please, listen to me. I don't know who your Kenobi is. I don't know what face you see when you lie awake at night feeling the phantom pain of the life you were supposed to have. I know you were hurt. I know it was unfair. I know the universe cut you down and left you in the dark. But you have a choice. You can spend the rest of your life building mechanical legs out of garbage. You can use your pain to turn yourself into a weapon. You can prove to everyone that you are indestructible, and you can spend decades fighting a ghost in the desert of your own mind. Or you can let the lightsaber fall. You can realize that the anger isn't a shield, it is a cage. You can accept that holding on to the resentment isn't punishing them, it is only killing you, slowly, day by day, year by year. It is so hard to let go. It feels like a betrayal of yourself. It feels like letting them win. But letting go isn't about forgiving them. Letting go is about realizing that you deserve a life that isn't defined by the worst thing that ever happened to you. You do not have to be an engine of spite. You do not have to live on the junk planet anymore. The war is over. The phantom pain will never completely vanish, but you don't have to build your entire identity around it. Drop the weapon. Step out of the dark. And finally, let yourself rest.